How you doing the countdown now, man? We've been in the show for almost 8 minutes. But no, man, it wasn't that. We were having a discussion, and my understanding is because of some other professional obligations that Kwaku show was
right.
Yeah, but it wasn't now. If Community Voice will get canceled, it will be because of, as Michelle says, quality programming. And I put quality in quotations, right? So yeah, that would be the reason for it. But no, it wasn't because of the alcohol.
Yeah, bro, that was hilarious, man.
Yeah,
That cat
man.
called and told Al Sharpton on you.
Yeah, man. It wasn't like he my daddy.
Who's your daddy?
You ain't my daddy. Like he my daddy. So anyway, man, I wanted to get that out there, because we were having a conversation. You got a call?
No,
okay. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Did anybody watch the fireworks Saturday?
What?
Dude.
Man, it was all over the city.
I had to go to the lake.
Huh?
I had to go to the lake because on 20th and Keith, they was, man, I'm telling you.
Man, it was a
But
war.
you know what? This year, I didn't hear fireworks. Normally it starts like on the 2nd around here. But man, I didn't start hearing fireworks until the 4th.
Man, Doc, they did it on the 3rd. A little bit like
on
it was,
third.
Yeah, it was like almost like it was like a little taste of what's to come.
Yeah, I'm talking about community. Because normally it'd be popping over here, man. But it really didn't start until the evening. Sorry about that.
Oh,
the evening of the 4th.
And it went on all night, man. It's about 12:30, 1 o'clock.
You know what? And I didn't really have a problem with it. I had the door open. You know what? It's supposed to be 250 years. Not that the people in the neighborhood understood that, but it was.
They understood it because they were letting them go.
Oh man, they let them go at the 249th anniversary. I mean, it's been, but I was surprised how quiet it was. It really was quiet. There was some fireworks last night, but I started watching the celebrations throughout the country. And I'm gonna tell you, Michelle hit it on point, man. You ever see a dude just mess it up for everybody, man? I mean, what should have been a celebration where we come together, and look, America's divided. There is no, we can't sugarcoat that. America's divided, but man, it was just watch first of all what they did to the mall, and I don't know. I don't know if God is telling you something when you get the 107-degree heat, and then you get these massive thunderstorms. And what kept crossing my mind a few years back. Trump was still in office. We were in the throes of COVID, and he had that rally, disrespectful rally on June 20th. The day after Juneteenth in Tulsa, and the people who got sick from COVID and ended up dying. What's my guy? Kane died. He don't care about his folks, so he could care less about those folks who had to sit out there in the weather, right? Was forced inside, and then you show the hospitality tent that they set up there that's air conditioned, catered. I mean, I'm with George. Sometimes you have to wonder, why do you still support this dude? But thank God, man, that there were other cities in the country. So let me start with New York. New York, man, that fireworks display. The crazy thing was, from the view that they had from the Empire State Building, you could see all these fireworks going off in the neighborhood. And then when the main show started, man, it was incredible. It was good. So let me shout out New York. Let me shout out Boston. Boston did the Boston Pops. Chance the Rapper performed with the Boston Pops. And then their fireworks, but they did fireworks and drone. And then Nashville, man. First of all, the music was good. I think Boyz II Men performed in Nashville. But their fireworks was also with drones. And then CBS had John Baptiste, and he performed. It was good to see the fireworks, which then gets us back to DC. And they said technically there were not July 4th fireworks in DC on the mall because it was so late, it went into July 5th. But it just looked like it didn't have the beauty of other places. Like they were trying to set this record for the most fireworks ever. And so then it didn't, compared to other folks. And if people watched the DC fireworks in the past, it's usually that great view. They shoot them right behind the Washington Monument, but then they didn't put that in blue. This dude, boy, I'm telling you, man, he can mess up a wet dream. This is just crazy, man. That, you know,
it's terrible, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, wow, it was. And, you know, and it's about him. It's not about the country. It's about him. And because he has the platform, you know, we're just forced to have to deal with this. You know, it's like, dear leader, man. But man, that was just, so thank God for the other cities, you know, celebrations all over the country. Some cities had to cancel their parades. I know DC ended up canceling their parade. I mean, because the heat was what it was, man. People were out in that weather. But, you know, I mean, something, and look, for a lot of us as Black folks, first of all, it was so weird because the 4th was on a Saturday, which really made it weird because your paid holiday is the 3rd, right?
Right.
And so then you had the 4th. Did go to Famous Days, though. Did go to Famous Days. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love Famous Days, man.
Yeah, man, I went to Famous Days. Those ribs were good. And some rib tips, too. But yeah, man, it's crazy. And again, I was watching, I know the history. We all know the history of America. And I was watching a piece on the American Revolution and how, I think it was on John Adams, and how that whole issue of enslavement came up even in the putting together the Declaration of Independence. And because the Continental Congress was divided, they were divided over the issue of slavery. The Northern folks who didn't depend as much on slavery for their economy, and then many of those folks, for religious reasons, had a problem with enslavement, really pushed back with the Southern folks, George Washington, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, who were slave owners. And so that whole thing about what the economy, and even though I think it was 1809, America, 1807, 1809 barred the importation of human beings to be enslaved, they did not outlaw enslavement, right? Enslavement still happened. And even when you hear the Star Spangled Banner and its support for enslavement, and then we work our way forward. Our history in this country, Black people have fought in every war this country has ever been in, starting with the Revolutionary War, even going before that. And I hate to use this term for the First Nationers, the Indian Wars. Black people have been part of that. And then always then get full franchisement in terms of being able to vote. You know, I told the story last week of how you had German POWs who were being held in the South, who could ride in the front of the train, and you had U.S. soldiers who had, you know, fought in Europe and fought in Asia, and they have to sit at the back of the train. So America is kind of hard when people feel, and then they did a poll that said that almost, 87% of Republicans are feeling very patriotic, and the number is very low when it came to Democrats, because people are not very happy with what they see that's going on in this country right now. And in spite of that, and I know people say we're the greatest. I don't know if we're the greatest nation ever in the history of mankind. Certainly militarily, we're the most powerful nation ever. But that doesn't, and it seemed to me that there is righteousness exalts a nation, sin is its reproach. That, you know, we want, and I hear all these people talking about America is a Christian nation, and you know, I don't always sense that America is as Christian as she purports to be. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm blessed. I can't complain. Michelle got my coffee. She keep it hot. And my donut, I'm sitting here, and I'll be fired up and ready. But when you get on the radio, man, my coffee get cold. My donut done got stale. I don't know what it is. I'm fired up and ready to go. Let's go.
All right, don't let Michelle get you killed. Don't let Michelle get you hurt out there, brother.
Oh my God.
We'll be printing up T-shirts, and but Michelle told me to do it. Nah, you don't want.
So let me pre-warn you, because you know John gonna call back. He ain't done with that yet, so he gonna call back.
He should have been done. Michelle handled it so well this morning, man. I don't know what John be on, man, but you know, this whole idea that John has a problem with Arabs. That's become apparent in the 8 years that I've been talking with John. He does have a problem with that. But Michelle is correct. You cannot justify what happened in Gaza. You can't justify it. I'm sorry, 76,000 people lost their lives? That little stat that we're not hearing, we're not even talking about. I mean, that's just disproportionately what it meant. And so, and then we have all of these religious folks who are so supportive of Israel because of the Bible. I'm thinking, no. I can criticize Israel and not be anti-Semitic. Because Israel is a nation state. Just like I can criticize Colombia or I can criticize America. You know, brother, I'm sorry that your coffee got cold, man, because
Hey, next time I'm gonna put on your cap. I'm gonna have on your cap cold coffee.
There you go, man. Hey, man, a lot of people drink that iced coffee, though.
Okay, buddy.
All right,
man. Y'all keep up the good work, man. Appreciate
All right.
it. All right, later.
He said Michelle had it fired up and ready to go. Okay. You can run up that hill if you want to. You better be prepared for what's at the top of that hill when you run up that hill. But it used to be sometimes that I would come in, man. Michelle had everybody fired up, man. I mean, everybody fired up. And here I come in going like, hey, guys, what's the problem? Hey, what's up? What's going on? Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hate to say this. I think a lot of these white nationalist Christians, I think they have low self-esteem. I think they're stupid. Because how are you going to be proud of a president who says, I've been the best president to Israel? And then on top of that, if you are a quote-unquote white European, he's going to put converted Europeans above you. Your kinfolk has lost jobs, filed bankruptcy, lost jobs and benefits. And the converted Europeans laughs all the way to the bank. Their kids get to go to school for free. You have to pay. And you're a real European. And you're supposed to be real American white. And he's putting people who are converted above you. You are taking losses just so you could be racist. But the people he put before you make a mockery of your religion, bang up your quote unquote white Jesus, and you're going to stand there and he's laughing all the way to the bank. And even when he told you to your face, I will vote for Republicans because they stupid, that's worse than cracking good fentanyl. You can't even put that on religion. That's just dumb. Because if I was a European, and trust me, I'm going to tell you right now, I am not, nor do I want to be. If somebody says, I'm proud of another country, and my kinfolks who are real Europeans is taking losses, that will be a slap in my face. So when it comes to the ignorance and the low self-esteem, I see why Israel is laughing all the way to the bank. And they was kicked out of 109 countries. And you're taking losses in your own country. Boy, y'all, I can't even call y'all dumb monkeys. Y'all just dumb. But I'll call you that after you shave the monkey. Have yourself a good day. Happy Monday. And y'all don't got nothing to say about it? They done drag your religion and your Jesus Christ and bust them in the head with a sledgehammer. Like he been drinking Mad Dog 2020 and did bad dope. With 9-hour Crest Up no dose. Oh, y'all some fools. Happy Monday. Bye-bye.
Right.
Fire. All right, you listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. Caller, I see you. I'm going to grab you after the break. Again, the phone line's open, 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back. Caller, welcome to the program.
Morning, Keith. This is
John.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. How's your body doing? Better?
It's getting better, man. I see the orthopedic today, so we'll see what happens after that.
Excellent. I went through something similar. Had a whole bunch of problems where my right leg is still wasted away from years ago. That's half my fault because I don't do enough, but I'm still struggling. I'm bouncing back. Anyways, I'm glad to hear you're better. First of all, I don't defend, I'm prosecuting. Like the book by Emile Zola, J'accuse, after Captain Dreyfus was accused of selling out to the Germans because he was supposed to be, a cosmopolitan Jew who's not committed to France. Remember that story?
Okay.
Captain Dreyfus. So Emile Zola wrote a paper saying J'accuse, meaning I accuse the French brass of scapegoating this man because they can't get over their losing their aristocratic power and they want to have a scapegoat. Plus, they themselves are responsible for any losses to their endless wars with Germany. Something to that effect. And so anyway, I'm like Emile Zola. I'm saying I accuse. I'm not defending anything. What I'm doing is accusing progressive blacks, started with people like Stokely Carmichael, and Jews, of course, the Noam Chomsky, Bernie Sanders, the whole radical progressive Jews included. Okay, I accuse Bernie. I'm going to use Bernie Sanders, Noam Chomsky, any of these guys, Howard Zinn. You know all those names. You know who Howard Zinn is, history of America and all this stuff. So I accuse those communist Jews and radical Jews, Noam Chomsky, Bernie Sanders, and so forth, accuse them of not caring about Africa. So I'm going to do a Kennedy X. If you're not with Africa, you're against Africa. But it's easy to talk about South Africa, South Africa, South Africa, South Africa, South Africa, South. Notice I said South about a half a dozen times. If we don't mention North Africa as the core, not a periphery that we're not allowed to talk about, the core issue is Africa. And we've talked about South Africa forever. Now let's go 5,000 miles up north to Nubia.
So you're making the argument that the emphasis should not be on what's happening in Israel, what's happening in the Gulf. We should be focusing on what's happening on the Northern Africa.
Not that we should not pay attention to those other things, but they are the periphery. Not that they don't matter, but they have to be looked at through the lens of North
Now,
Africa.
you say they, who's they?
Like you said about, the Arab-Israeli war is peripheral to North Africa. The Iranian war is peripheral. So the issue is what you can interpret everything through the lens of what has happened to Nubia. And once you get that straight, all of it all falls into place.
No.
Well, then explain Nubia. Why would I say that? You think
I'm saying that no, they're not connected other than their conflicts there. They have their own lanes. The issue with Israel has its own lane. The issue of Israel goes back to 1947.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't interrupt. Go ahead, sorry.
So what I'm saying is that all these countries have their own lanes in terms of what, especially as America, our geopolitical interest is. Like at this point, the only reason why Northern Africa was so significant to American foreign policy was this whole idea of starting with Nasser and this whole that, bringing together all these African nations and then Gaddafi. But at this point, the northern part of Africa is not where the world is focused right now. The world is focused there in the Persian Gulf, right? And in Israel.
Of course. Okay. You said Nasser a minute ago. My phone's distorted. Maybe it's the echo from your being away. You said Nasser, President Nasser? Is that what you said?
Nasser was one of the proponents of Pan-Africanism.
Arabism and yeah.
No, but it was also Pan-Africanism, where he was trying to pull together not only the so-called Arab states, and those folks who are in Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia are not Arabs, right? They're African.
Wait. The Arabs conquered them, and they're still.
No, but if you look at what they are in terms of indigenous, they are not.
That's exactly what I'm trying to talk about. That's exactly what I've been trying to.
No, man, that is they're part of Africa, and
people who are conquered are Africans, and the Arabs rule those African countries as minorities.
What I'm saying now is that it is, and I don't know what it is in your mind of what it is to be Arab, but I'm saying that those folks were not considered Arab. Those folks were, and even though you had people like Nasser, who again tried to pull together all these Arab states, but it wasn't just the so-called Arab states. It was also then African states. He was very, very, very supportive of people like Patrice Lumumba and all these folks, Jomo Kenyatta, people like that who were leading, we're talking like sub-Saharan Africans, right, in terms of their throwing off colonization.
You said sub-Saharan? You said sub-Saharan?
Yes.
Did you say sub? Okay, now, did he support the Nub? No, he moved Nubians from what he created, Lake Nubia, which was actually the northern part, I think it is, Lake Nasser. Why did he move Nubians? So he could build a dam. So he displaced.
Okay, but where are you going with this, John?
You're also talking about indigenous people. You just stated.
No, where are you? But what is your whole general premise that you're trying to? Are you trying to say that the issue is not Israel, the issue is Arabs? And whoever you include in that people.
Sorry, go ahead.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying there, like you said, there's a bunch of lanes, but the lanes are branches of the Arab Empire conquest.
Okay, so the issue is not Israel. The issue is Arabs.
The issue is the Arab Empire has conquered Palestine first, Syria second, Iraq, Persia, Egypt, Sudan, Libya, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania. Those countries are conquered by an Arab empire.
Those countries right now are currently that you named, with the exception of Iran. You didn't mention Iran because they're Persian, they're Asians. But I'm trying to get to the point. The issue with Israel is not. The question is Israel's foreign policy and really their internal policy, because the Gaza Strip and the West Bank are in the territorial bounds of what is considered Israel. And they annexed both these areas in 1947, right? These people were here. Now, you argue back and forth about the Europeans who came in and how they might have roots there. All I'm saying is prior to them coming in mass, it was those people there that we call Palestinians, Arabs. So I don't know if you can blame this on the Arabs. The Arabs, those folks there, and there's been a certain co-opting of Arabs, right? The Abraham Accords, where you bring in some of these Arab nations, they did that to blunt any kind of opposition they might pose towards Israel, right? And you're seeing this play out now in terms of the countries that Iran is targeting, you know, in terms of some of its attacks. So it is not Arabs.
Okay, Palestine Arabs are Arabs, and Palestine Arabs have a paternal lineage about plurality, maybe half, to Arabia. That's on their father's side. Just like in Sudan, the darker Arabs that people call over here called black Arabs have a paternity and a huge percentage, a plurality of Arabian Peninsula south of Northern Arabia, the core, the Jazeera.
John, I get all of that. What are you trying to say, man?
I'm saying the framework is that Africa and the Middle East, north of the 27th parallel in Arabia, all of those ancient peoples still exist. The Assyrians who speak Aramaic, the Lebanese Maronites still speak Aramaic. There was Jews living all across North Africa and the Middle East, the Berbers, the Coptics. Coptic means Egyptian.
Okay, I get all of that. What you're talking in circles.
No, I'm making a simple statement. The Arab Empire has subjugated Nubia. Can we start with Nubia?
Okay, but that ain't our issue right now.
Because you won't make it that way.
Okay,
you will never pay attention to Nubia, Mr. Africa.
No, because I won't, because I look at that and I go like, those folks are having their own, and Somalia and Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Africa. I mean, Congo. These folks have their own internal rivalries.
Let me not race with you. Can we get rid of Israel and be done with it? And then
that's not. No, we cannot, because it's impacting our day to day. We're in a war right now that's having collateral impact in America because of Israel.
Okay, can we finally finish Israel and wipe it out?
No, because it has not been resolved.
Intellectual, please, for intellectual discussion, just for a second. I'm trying to have a discussion.
No, John, I'm not going to do it. I appreciate you, man. No justice, no peace. There's no. I mean, right now, what the world is facing right now, where it has impact globally, is what's happening between Israel, the United States, and Iran. Not what's going on in Nubia. Not to say that that's not important, whatever you consider Nubia. You know, those folks have been fighting just like they for thousands of years. They have ethnic rivalries. So we got all of that. But I'm just saying right now, the issue is Iran, Israel, and the United States. And the collateral impact it's had on the world, primarily on the world's economy. I appreciate you, man. I got another caller.
Yes, sir.
Caller, welcome to the program. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, let me get this little stat why this is so important. I went and pulled it up. It says the Gaza war, that started in October 2023, right? According to figures compiled by the Gaza Health Ministry and independent researchers, the ensuing military campaign has resulted in the death of 73,000 Palestinians, with thousands more remaining missing or presumed dead under the rubble. Okay? 73,000. Those are numbers that are close, if not would fall technically into genocide. And the reason why they won't call it genocide is, remember, Michelle was talking about the rules of engagement, but there's also this thing of when something's declared genocide, what the world and how the world should respond. 73,000 Palestinians have lost their lives in the last 3 years. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a big real issue that we've been pulled into a war instead of handling our interior of the United States. Now, Netanyahu has not been listening. but he has been getting American taxpayers' money. And he also override what it was supposed to be paired with Trump and him of doing this war. It comes to show every time something happens, Netanyahu wants to stop. I find that we are dealing with treasoners that's assisting to help this distraction of what Donald Trump's whole aim is to do, is to try to stay in power forever, okay? And the only way that this war was initiated, jumped into, is that he found out if he go to war or take us into war, he can bypass the midterms. And this is the whole thing of a problem that we got, is that if Netanyahu was supposed to be our ally, how come that Biden had a problem with him stopping before? Before Trump got in, Netanyahu took our money and then told Biden that he wasn't going to stop bombing them until they all dead. When you have someone like that, that basically is over religion, okay? You cannot involve yourself into a war that's religion. Religion lives before we have, okay? It has been developed, okay? And that's what people believe in and believe to die for. So when we got ourselves into it, it was Trump that tried to make this a Christian country. This never been a Christian country. It's been a unilateral exception for all different culture, religion. Now, all of a sudden, the Christians are not fraying away from a massacre killer, claiming Christianity of the rights to do whatever they're doing. First thing about it, never get involved with a religion war, okay? And we are not a religion country. We are a multi-unilateral acceptance of all different cultures of religion. And the thing about it, this man can't even recite scriptures straight out of the Bible that actually relates the understanding. He verses everything like numbers, okay? And instead of, as it read out of the Bible, he got people pulling things out to try to make it seem like he's religious. All of a sudden, Netanyahu gets this money from us, and then he turns his horns full red sharp and told America that he's not going to stop. So this is the problem. We hadn't overlooked reparations, and we got Donald Trump taking reparations that America bombed and destroyed many countries, that it became as a resolution to help repair what catastrophes have been done to the country. And I'm saying that no one is not calling now that America is being overturned to the 1700s, and it's 2026. 2000, we didn't even know we was going to survive as far as another year after 2000. And the thing is that once we did, it was a new aim to try to set a new enslavement of a war order.
Can let me, if you go in, there's only one reference to deity in anything, whether it is the Declaration of Independence, whether it's the Articles of Federation. There is, America is a secular country. Let me also say this: Israel is a secular country. Now, the religious right has enormous sway in Israel, but Israel will tell you that she is a secular nation, right? Zionism was not, it's part of it, but that idea that it wasn't religion. And look, you can go in, and people came to America because they had a problem with national religion. There are a lot of people who left.
We're talking about Israel. When we got African descendants as here, that's not even giving respect or reparation. So to be jumping over to another culture and not facing what we have here in our endeavors that affected a whole country and a whole community of us that we cannot, and we do not have any connection with our own country. The kings and queens have been distracted. and all Springs kings and queens are living here in America untagged, and we have not gotten reparations. I do not want to hear nothing about America being great or about America being right. America just shows that they're a lie and use us as Americans, all cultures, to fight their war to resume the bad habits of racism against Caucasians and blacks, okay? Because the tall whites is a whole different community. They are the elites. And this is the thing, the reason why Independence Day is respected to them.
All right, man.
Tall white aliens, listen, tall white aliens have bred it secretly with humans, okay? And so therefore, 4th of July is an homage to give red and green, blue LED lights of communication to the UFOs, okay?
All right.
See the UFOs behind.
I got you, bro. I got you, bro. Appreciate you.
Please stop selling out, man.
All right. Okay.
What?
Can I get a damn?
Yeah. You know what? You got 3 of them. Jeez.
So let's be clear. In spite of the movement here that they're trying to say America was founded as a Christian nation, America was not. Most of the folks there didn't even have religious kind of affiliations. They were deists. And again, there were people who fled Europe because of the persecution of national religion, either the Catholic Church or the Church of England. And so I think people need to understand the history, and it makes us feel good because we're still trying to reconcile, and I'll be honest, here comes the controversy. See, we're still trying to reconcile as descendants of enslaved Africans where we fit in this whole Christian piece anyway, right? Because many of the slaveholders were Baptists and Methodists, right? So where's the religion then? Because as I've asked the question, is enslavement moral? Most people, if not all, say no, it is not moral. But then people use Christianity to justify. I heard somebody talk about it last week where they refer to anyone who was certain non-Europeans as being savages, right? Whether that was First Nationers, whether that were people or descendants of Africans, that somehow you were not fully human. And that's what we're still struggling with today. All right. I never even got to the whole World Cup because I got a guest coming in at 10. All right. You're listening to Community Voice. Someone, let me ask this real question real quickly. Someone said, would it take an act of Congress to stop the cash flow to Israel? The answer to that question is yes. All right. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Host Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice, and we're joined in studio, I think, by our guest there. Thank you. Ms. Tawana Streeter, she is the Vice President of Development for United Negro College Fund. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm well.
Good. Sorry I'm not in the studio with you. I'm dealing with a little bit of some health issues, but good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're here to talk about the 42nd annual United Negro College Fund walk
Yes.
and run.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, just for some folks out there who don't know much about the United Negro College Fund, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, UNCF, we empower and sustain our 37 HBCU member institutions, and we ensure that students get to and through college. Over the past 82 years, we have raised $6 billion, putting nearly 550,000 students to and through college. We provide scholarships, internships, professional development opportunities for students. So we're not just putting them in college, we're ensuring that they are able to be productive members of the workforce.
So when we think about this, well, locally in Milwaukee, how has the UNCF impacted our local students going off to HBCUs?
Yeah, so in Milwaukee, we provide approximately 60 or so scholarships per year to students, with the average scholarship being about $3,500. So go ahead.
No.
So we've been able to do that on an annual basis. So we've had a very strong presence in Milwaukee for years.
So what are we doing? Are we doing anything different this year, or differently? I'm sorry. This year that we've done in the past?
Nothing too different. We are, we have our walkers, we have our rollers, we have our runners. We have a great MCs, Jaron Jordan and Deanna Gutierrez. And Jaron is a Howard University grad. We have our sponsors, Northwestern Mutual, Rockwell Automation, SC Johnson, Brewers Community Foundation, US Bank, and Versity. And we also have a DJ who will be out there to help fire up the crowd, get them warmed up and prepared to go on their walk, run, or roll. And then we'll have special award ceremony towards the end. And these are all the things that we did last year. So nothing different. I won't come out the box with new things until next year. Try not to surprise people too much.
What is the distance of this year's walk run?
It's a 5K, so about 3.1 miles.
3.1 miles, and that's down Veterans Park?
Yes. So by the time you finish catching up with the gossip or what's going on with the bros, you'll be back.
Okay. I'm trying to remember now, did you go to HBCU?
I did not. I went to Illinois State University.
Okay. Let me see. Redbirds?
Redbirds.
Oh!
But I am the proud mother of a HBCU student.
Okay. And where are they?
My son, Alabama A&M.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Wow. How did I know that Illinois State was the Redbirds? Oh,
Can't miss that.
Yeah. This becomes real important, and we've seen how this has evolved over the years. Mm-hmm. I can remember you used to have a sponsor, right? And then people would sponsor you for the distance that you went with a certain amount of money. Now it's pretty much just people going in and their ability to. We use this as a day where people can actually make contributions, whether they walk or whether they participate in the walk.
Right. Yeah. So there are various ways that you can support the walk. You can be a walker, runner, roller yourself, register. You can create a team, and people who join your team can help you raise that money. You can send it out. Once you create your profile, you get a beautiful web page, and you can send it out to your friends and family, co-workers, and they're able to contribute to your goal. You can also just make a general donation, or you can become an in-kind sponsor or a financial sponsor.
And again, I did all of this. We really should give the date.
It is Saturday, August 1st, 2026, down at Veterans Park.
It's always good. And I noticed you mentioned there are organizations who put together teams
Yes.
I think certain organizations now they're allowed to come out and set up their own tents as they have in the past.
So they are not allowed to set up their own tents.
Okay.
Per the park district, but they are more than welcome to join us. We'll have several groups, and our sponsors will be there under tents. Again, there'll be a DJ, so you can come out and set up your chairs, your tables, your grill if you want, and just enjoy the day with us. It's all for a good cause. We are here to support students, raise money for students to get to and through college.
And what time does it start? I mean, registration and then
registration starts at 7 a.m. and I believe we kick off at 9 a.m.
Okay. So it gives people enough time to get down there.
Absolutely. And we have on-site registration. So if you decide at the last minute that you want to come out and support us, register on site.
This year's event theme is Light the Way to Education, Run with a Purpose. In difficult times like this, how important is it that we still spotlight in education?
Very important. Now more than ever, dollars are needed to send students to school. In light of everything that's going on, we need to ensure that the resources, financial, the holistic support is provided to students. Mental health, wellness is provided to students as they navigate the uncertain times of education.
It really is, and the fact that you have some of these corporate sponsors, that says a lot too.
It says a lot. It reinvigorates our desire, our passion to ensure that we are hitting the streets. We are doing what we need to do, and I'm talking about the staff, that we are doing what we need to do to ensure that the walk continues year after year, to ensure that we are able to have a presence in Milwaukee, because the students of Milwaukee deserve to have their next chapter provided to them, the support and resources that I talked about. They deserve that.
Is there then, over and beyond once money is raised, then what do the students do? How would they be able to apply for these scholarships?
It's very easy. You go on uncf.org, you go to the scholarship page, and you create a profile. It is important, and this is key, it is important that you check the website at least once a month, because we have over 400 scholarship programs. So we are constantly updating the website with new scholarship opportunities. So you just go and you apply to as many scholarships as you want. Make sure, and don't get discouraged by the essay, because that is what can set you apart from other students. So you want to talk about yourself, and you want to talk about the topic or a topic that is important to you, to set yourself, to make yourself unique. So once they do that, they can apply to as many scholarships as they want.
And as I was thinking about this and, the essays, and I don't know if that was the case when you were matriculating at Illinois State, but I know at the Mount that people used to have to write essays as part of their
that was the
college
requirement, right? That was the requirement when you were applying for a scholarship and when you were applying for college.
Right.
You had to write an essay. So they've gotten away from that, or they've gotten a little bit more savvier where you have to do a video essay or record yourself talking about yourself or a topic. So I think, but I think that you can stand out a lot of times, especially when people are coming in and they are probably situated the same way when it comes to GPA or when it comes to SATs or ACTs, that your essay will set you apart. Absolutely, especially if you don't have that 3.0.
Right.
You want to talk about, some of the challenges or something that helped you navigate a challenge or an obstacle. I wasn't a 3.0 student growing up, but I was a great writer. I I hated talking about my background. I can, my mom was a teen mom, and she had 2 kids by the time she was 18. I hated talking about that. But as I got older, I realized that that was a part of my story.
Right.
And that was a part of, what made me me and how I got to where I am. So it's what drives me. And I learned to talk about it more because it's the reason why I do what I do.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because I think that a lot of times, but those things that we might view as negative might also be fuel.
Exactly.
To say where we are, how we got to where we got to, because your story becomes important. Story becomes very important, and to be able to do that. Again, the 42nd annual UNCF Milwaukee Walk Run we held on August 1st. Registration begins at 7 a.m. The walk kicks off at 9, and then there's an after run program. The location will be Veterans Park at Milwaukee Lakefront, and so people can register. You said you can't register on site?
You can register on site. So registration online will be cut off probably the week before, and I can double check that, but you'll be able to register on site the morning of.
And I had to ask this question. So are t-shirts included in this, or?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I know that's been the hot topic.
Oh, yeah, it's always the t-shirts. We joke about don't show up at the family reunion with the family reunion t-shirt for 3 years ago.
There's nothing wrong with showing up with an old t-shirt. T-shirts are expensive.
You showing up with that?
Don't let him discourage you from wearing your old shirt.
You show up with the yellow t-shirt we had 3 years ago, and then want to be on the front row of the picture.
Look at that. I get it.
I love all African people all over the world. You gotta love Black people. Again, Tawana, thank you for this. Again, what if people, is there a website people go to, whether they want to register or just want to give to United Negro College Fund?
Yeah, go directly to the website, uncf.org/events, and you'll see Milwaukee pop up. And they can go on and navigate the page, make a donation, or register as a walk participant, register to join a team or create a team. I created a team, so me and my team will be out there.
Excellent. Ms. Tawana Streeter, she's the Vice President of Development for United Negro College Fund, talking about Milwaukee's 42nd annual United Negro College Fund Walk Run, which will be held on August 1st here in the city. Always good talking with you. Sorry I couldn't be in studio.
That's okay. You take care of yourself. And
hey,
thank you again for having me.
Hey, no problem. You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right, Keith, we back.
All right, welcome back. Hold on, let me get my little situation straight here. Hold on, let me go full screen. Uh-oh, what did I do here? There we go. All right. We good?
Yes, sir.
What'd y'all play for the music, man?
I played Joe Jordan and Friends.
Joe Jordan and Friends. Joe Jordan, our local Joe Jordan?
Joe Jordan and Friends. B, what up? Welcome back, man.
Oh, hey.
B,
Hey, welcome back, whoever you are.
Man. Come on over here, man.
Who that?
This B right here, man.
Oh, Byron?
He back in town, man.
Well, what up, B?
What's going on? What up, Keith?
What's happening, man?
Not much, man. Gotta adjust back to real life.
Okay. Okay.
Man, how was the trip, man?
It was great, man.
Where'd you go?
Cancun.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, man. This cat came back looking like a pork and bean, man. He got a tan on him.
Yeah, I was noticing, man. That
I ain't even know black folks get sunburned.
Oh yeah.
You got sunburned.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I was telling about the year, man. I was working at Our Avenue. It was like 104 on that, man. I got so toasty. And then I got sunburned. So again, hey, and I know we'll have the good folks on tomorrow from Ascension talking about this. But hey, man, you got to watch the sun, boy. The sun will do some damage.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, man. We're good. Welcome back, bro.
Appreciate you.
All right, man.
I'll be watching now, too.
Peace. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Welcome back. Glad he made it
Welcome
back.
back.
Yeah.
Here's where your ticket out. Welcome back.
So Welcome Back, Carter is not the same. Oh, no, WKRP in Cincinnati. That was a totally different show, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a totally different show.
Yeah. It's just, man, those theme songs, man, they sounded so good back in the day. It's like
Cheers.
Yeah. Now, you know, Norm just passed away.
Did he? George Flynn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers was and then I think Friends had a nice one. I didn't watch Friends.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah, Friends had a nice Taxi to this day, man.
That's Bob James.
Yeah, Doc. I mean, you can actually play that in your car, man.
Man, you know, you think about some of these, or then some of them just iconic, man. I could do the whole, let me tell you about a story about a man named Jed, poor Martineer, barely kept his family fed.
Yeah. Hey, but it's crazy how those songs back in the day, they was theme songs for shows. But now you look at the shows and the theme music, it's like nothing. Like,
but you know what? Rappers sample.
Yeah, sure did.
Rappers sample, because didn't when Mays made his comeback, didn't he do he did Welcome Back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, man. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. You know, we was just, man, dude just be all up in the joint. You know, I've been following the World Cup. You know, I started being I don't, like I said, grew up playing soccer. Certainly have been sometimes a nominal fan, but when World Cup happens, man, I'm watching them, and I just want to. First of all, I was cheering for all the African teams. Okay, I was cheering for all of them. Shout out to Cape Verde. Cape Verde was they considered it an upset because the game was so close. But man, the drama.
Mexico got upset.
Oh man!
Yesterday.
Well, you know, I don't know if that was an upset because England.
Well, one, it was an upset because it was in Mexico.
Well, yeah, but then they had the weather delay.
Yeah,
and then they went out, and interesting that one of the goals scored was by a African descendant, of the Mexican team, Quiones.
Right.
Yeah, man. I mean, so would you? But let me hate on England, because the guy, what's his name, Bellingham, the brother.
Oh yeah.
He actually scored 2 contested goals.
Yeah.
Right. Kane gets a penalty kick.
Yeah.
You know, and then they have one play where he said, "Look, he drew 3 people with him." Okay, the dude still had to put the ball in the net. He did it twice.
Right.
He had a header and he put one in. So, but let's just talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Uh-oh.
Okay, everybody knows that this kid. Let me get his name. Mulligan. Let me do World Cup. But. Now, first of all, let's talk about FIFA. FIFA is one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. Okay, one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. They talk about how Russia got a World Cup when Russia was like, because they had invaded Crimea. Well, this is before that. And then they talked about how Qatar got it. But the amount of money, the bribery that went on. So people may or may not know, there is a young man who's real interesting because he kind of plays into this whole thing. He would almost be considered an anchor baby. His mother came here. She was pregnant. She was too pregnant to fly home. So she ended up having him here. Because of birthright citizenship, then he's an automatic U.S. citizen. Okay. So against Bosnia, he got a red card. Now, people understand yellow card is caution, red card is disqualification, and based on FIFA rules, if you receive a red card, not only are you ejected from the game, if your team qualifies for another match, you cannot play in the next match. Now, there were people, and I watched the play, a lot of us was watching it when it happened, and we wondered, did it really deserve a red card? He wasn't intentional. But what had happened was that there was another player who, I don't know if he was from England, he actually broke the leg of a player. So he ends up not only getting a red card, he gets a 5-game suspension. All right. So we knew it was going to be tough for America. America's actually doing a whole lot better than a lot of people anticipated. You just know our participation in the World Cup has been dismal. Some years we don't qualify. People are arguing that one of the reasons why we qualified this year is because as the host nation, you automatically gets in. So because Canada automatically qualified, Mexico automatically qualified, America, the United States automatically qualified. So in this match, he receives a red card. A lot of people were saying whether or not, but it was made. Well, we find out yesterday that Donald Trump made a phone call to the president of FIFA asking him to review the red card. And then FIFA came up with something that most people who have been following football didn't understand, where they suspended the suspension. So,
yeah, I saw that, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, so Forlan Ren Balogun will be able to play tonight. Now, look, the Americans had been training based on him not playing. The Belgians probably trained based on him not playing because this guy is good. He's really good. So Donald Trump makes a phone call, and boom, he's back playing. Now, I'm telling you, if you talk about it's set off a blank storm throughout the world because people are saying, well, look, we shouldn't be surprised that Donald Trump could even make the phone call because I don't know if y'all remember FIFA when they were doing the draw announcements at the Kennedy Center, came up with this bogus Peace Prize.
Yeah.
Because Donald Trump didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
So we got to know. But again, FIFA is corrupt. I mean, it is corrupt. And so my question is, now will this diminish anything that the Americans do going forward? And here's the other thing. Last night, England lost a player to the red card. So can King Charles make a phone call to FIFA asking them to suspend that red card?
I'm sure he probably could, but they won't.
And my understanding is that Belgium was allowed to appeal this decision, but I think it doesn't really mean anything. I think and again, Donald Trump is in it, and again, whether we thought the red card was justified or not, the rules are the rules. And when people feel like you can put your thumb on the scale, I think no matter what America does going forward, it's going to be diminished because of what Donald Trump did. Caller, or am I going to break, or is that a caller?
Break time.
Okay, we're going to take a break. And I'd love to hear what you think. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. And here's the crazy thing. There's been some incredible matches. I mean, you sit there. It's must-see TV.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a soccer fan, you begin to pick it up. And the atmosphere in Mexico City last night was like crazy, man. But you could just see all the air just got sucked out.
Yeah, man.
You know, when they scored those 3 goals. So 414-444-5250. We'll talk about it more when I get back from the break. You're listening to Community Voice. We'll be right back.
AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back. And again, the phone line is open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. It looks like, certainly, let's talk about what's going on with the World Cup real quickly on a local level. I guess the trade is official today for Giannis and Bobby Portis going to Miami.
Yeah, it's the official introduction for the players that was involved in that trade. So on the Bucks end, Ware and Yakas, whatever his name is, and all of those other guys, and also the draft pick that Miami drafted, Nate Emmett, he would be introduced today as well.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit, and I got to catch it again. I didn't catch. I caught the end of the Bucks in the summer league.
Yeah, well, yeah, the California Classic.
Yeah, they played
Saturday's game, man. They was balling, man. Bogaloo put up 16 and 6 rebounds and 4 assists. But the game yesterday.
Well, it looked so funny, man. They look so little.
Yeah, don't they?
They look so little, man.
Yeah.
God, that's just. But I mean, it's the draft picks and how people drafted. So I think they got another week.
Well, no. Actually, they play one more game tonight, and then they start the summer league, which I think they start that on either Tuesday or Wednesday.
So what are they playing now?
They play the California Classic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, phone lines open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Oh man, boy, I tell you, man, I do miss being in the studio.
Yeah, man. Then we miss you being here, man. It's almost like the Jetsons, man. Like you on the screen and we here. You know, it's almost like COVID. Like, you know how, like, you know, during the COVID time, you would see the doctor on the screen. And I never understood that because I'm like, well, I don't want to talk to a doctor on the screen. I want to talk to a doctor in person.
Oh, now you want to be in person.
Hey, man, I want to look you in your eyes.
Well, you know, but what has amazed me, though, is that I'm still connected. You know, I mean, I don't feel like, I think telephone is because you don't see the people.
Yeah.
And, but no, I mean, I still feel like, you know, I'm there on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Now I can't see all the stuff that's going on as we look at the window out the world. I haven't been able to shout out, you know, the new Pitts mortuary and Deacon Michael Jones because I don't see that.
Yeah.
But but then I set up and thought, like, man, if we would have got a real bad rainstorm, there was no way I'm getting in that building if we had Lake NOV.
Oh yeah, Doc. Doc. You would, because especially with how the water and how high that the water gets, so you trying to walk and fall down, man, you gonna drown, man. You ain't gonna be able to get up.
Yeah, you know, and you know, speaking of that, the tragedy down on Geneva Lake
Geneva.
Yeah.
But you know what I don't understand is now. Normally, when the storm is coming in, you see signs of it before the rain starts.
Right.
So the clouds, the atmosphere change. You see that something is happening. You see that the storm is approaching. As a parent, I don't understand, how do you not get your kids off the water knowing that a storm is
I
coming?
can explain that to you. I used to, part of my job when I worked at camp was, we'd have waterfront duty. And they always told us that we should always look to the southwest because that's where the storms come from.
Right.
But my understanding, what happened was that this came so quickly. It was like 100-mile-an-hour wind that just whipped up on the lake. It sounded like they were trying to get off the lake. But it came in so quickly that there was nothing they could do.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're right. If you look to the southwest normally or look to the west, you can see it coming.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't anticipate how close it is. I was listening to one of the meteorologists talk much, and he was saying that if you're out on the water, that you should have weather bands, but to areas southwest of you, because usually that's where the storm is going, unless it's coming straight across. But normally some of those more violent storms are coming from the southwest.
Right.
So they always told us when we were on the lake to look, because you try to get kids out there as much as you could, but begin to look. And it becomes a real problem when you had kids out there in rowboats and canoes. They're already struggling. So now we have to get out there and basically tow them in before the storm happens. But they said that it was like 100-mile-an-hour wind, and that just whipped up the lake, and they couldn't get off quick enough.
Wow.
And the kids did have on life jackets, but I just think the waves were just so high. Yeah, and it just one of those real tragedies that happens when you're out there. Now, some people say, well, if you know a storm, why go out there, period? But sometimes, you can have what it's looking like outside right now, and then 15 minutes later, man, it darkens up, you get a cloud, and bam, here you go. So certainly shouting out. And those folks are in our prayers. That's difficult, especially when it's kids. And I just know even I've known a couple of young folks that I know have drowned. One actually drowned up in Geneva Lake. So, that's why it's important that we teach our kids how to swim. I know you worried about their hair, but you never know when they're going to go on a trip, and the ability to be able to swim becomes real important. I know Rhonda had all the God kids in swimming, because Rhonda's a swimmer, so because even when she did the triathlon, she's one of the few Black people who actually swam. Some people had to run or bike a longer distance, but she was able to do all three. And and she won't be doing that this year, it's watch her train and what she does to go and do what she does. It's impressive, and I've learned this. People talk about relationships. Learn how to be a cheerleader. Learn how to, I want support. If I want support and I've been supported, then I need to learn how to be supportive and not be a hater. I don't know why you're doing this. Because, folks that do that, a lot of times you trying to do something, and the hate you get from the people that love you sometimes is greater than people that don't even know you.
Yeah.
It's Eddie King Jr.'s daddy. So he ain't gonna be that kind of, and that's real. I wish that wasn't the case, but that was the issue. I don't know if people saw the play or saw the movie Fences. That was the issue. He's bitter about his disappointments, and instead of encouraging his son, he does everything he can to deflate any kind of hope or dreams that he has. So
you talking about the one that Denzel Washington, right?
Viola Davis, yeah.
Playing baseball, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but wouldn't that be considered, like a generational curse? Like, I wasn't S and he ain't gonna be S, so you pretty much passing that down the line.
Yeah, that's why I think we got to deal with our internal issues, And I was listening. I watched. I think it was the documentary Becoming with Michelle Obama.
Oh, yeah.
And I had never seen it before, but I was watching some of the interviews that she had. I don't know if she was talking about her granddad or her dad, and talked about how smart he was, how well read he was, but on his jobs, he would see people who were not half as smart as him being promoted. And after a while, that can be deflating.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that can mess with your pride. And so for a lot of, especially Black men, who were trying to do the right thing, right?
Right.
And just obstacles in their way. So I cannot sit up and complain about my life because I know that there were people who had it far more difficult than me. As a matter of fact, I'm standing on their shoulders. But the pain that people experience. And so I said, you know, I give older dudes passes. I mean, I kind of understand if he drank a little bit. I mean, because how do you work through this madness? You know, and in some instances, people are saying it's still the same thing, but not much has changed. But I could say for me anyway, the people who made the path before me made it far easier for me. And I'm very appreciative of that, all the words of encouragement I got. I've never had anyone try to crush my dreams. If anything, I was, you know, if I always said this, look, my mom put all of us in the best position she could for us to be successful. So it really fell on us if we, you know, whether our success or lack of success, then that really falls on us. But I know as much as she could, she put us in a good position to be able to succeed in this world. Now, I don't know how much I have succeeded, but I do know that a lot of that, and not just my mom, but people around me, my grandmother, you know, family folks who it was really supportive. Now, I can tell you, real talk, that there's some people who look at me and go like, "Wow, is that Keith?" So I don't know what they thought of me when I was young, but to be able to do it. So I think we should do that. I remember preaching a sermon, "Are your parents proud of you?" Right? And it's based on honor thy mother and thy father, and how we honor our parents by how well we live our lives, right? We honor the sacrifices they made, the investments that they made, everything they did to put us in a position where we are now. And so that's important to me. I want my mom to be proud of me. I could be, you know, 100% transparent and say that there have been times, you know, Michelle and I, we always laugh about this because both our mamas thought we should be PhDs, right? We laugh about it all the time. But I hope that the fact that I'm not a PhD, that my mom is still proud of me. My mom and I were having a conversation, and I don't know how Bonita Lee came up. That's Oprah's mom. And we were just talking, and then she came up, and my mom just went on and on about how proud. She said, I know how proud Bonita is of that. And she said, that girl, because she did this, everybody in the world know her. And my mama just really blowing Oprah up. And the more she's blowing Oprah up, the quieter I got, right? I just sat there. And so then I said, okay, Mom, I'll talk to you later. My mother called me back 20 minutes later, and she goes, oh, I'm proud of you. Because I know she can feel it in that tone, like, you know, I'm sitting up here going like, okay, I ain't Oprah, but, you know, I ain't in jail either. You know, right. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hello?
Hey,
good morning to you, Doc. Hey, you said you preached a message about honoring thy mother and thy father. Doc, if it ain't been that long ago, maybe it's been a while back. How did you close that thing and wrap it up, Doc? How did you close?
I don't even remember.
Oh, okay. All right. I can believe that.
I just remember the sentiment that I was saying was that that how proud our parents of us in terms of, because my mother would never give me a compliment. Never. Mother never gave me a compliment.
Remember now, this is a sermon, so you was making the physical connection, but then the spiritual connection.
No, I was saying that I didn't know this until, you know, when I started working for the county, there were people who worked with my mother out at the hospital. And when they would meet me, they would say, your mother bragged about you all the time. I was going, now this is Cliffy Parris, and I'm Keith, right? Because my mother never, I remember asking my mom one day, I guess she just got frustrated with me. No, I asked her, was she proud of me? And she said, I never told you that I wasn't. So I'm assuming, huh?
Okay. I'm trying to ask you how you close. I got the preliminary.
I don't know how I close, man. This ain't a homiletics class.
That we should honor God. He should be first in our life. And is he proud of us? Are we making him proud? Did you bring it home like that?
No, because I was being very specific. I was talking about our parents, and I was doing it in context.
Right, but God is our parent. So if I did something like that, and I brought it home to where God was, he's the father, and that's how I close it. I just want to know if your closing was like that. So you just
no, man, it wasn't like that, man. I'm sorry. I think I was trying to get to this general thrust of not only we honor our ancestors, but how we live our lives. So it was more of that, not so much is God proud of me. I mean, I don't know how that works when God is proud of me. But I do know more immediately.
You don't know how that works, God the Father?
No, I don't know how it works when God is proud of me.
Instructions on how to pray. Do you pray our Father?
Did you hear what I just said to you, man?
I'm sorry, brother. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. There you go. So I was saying, I don't know what it looks like when it says God is proud of me. I can get a sense of what it looks like when my mama or daddy is proud of me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, all right. That's heavy right there. What you just said is heavy. So heavy, man, I can't even hold the phone to my ear.
That's what I do. That's what I do, Mitch. All right, man. Appreciate you. It's right out is what I do, man.
Oh man!
How did I end it? I don't know how I ended it.
It just ended.
That just ended. I dropped the mic and I walked away. I don't know. No, but I think that was the sentiment. Like if I ask you, brothers, you think your folks are proud of you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my parents, tell me every day when I talk to them. Son, how you doing? Whatever. Tell them I'm doing great. Whatever. All right, son, I'm proud of you. Because I tell my kids that. When I talk to them every day. Hey, son, I'm proud of you. Or I tell my daughter, hey, I'm proud of you. Keep going. Just to give them that push.
Because the fact that I'm even wearing this polo, I know my mom is real proud. Because look, I didn't want to be in radio. It was not an ambition. But my mom used to drag me to her radio program on WGLB, and it opened up an opportunity for me to be at WNOV. So a lot of that is, but what my mom was really proud of, which really kind of freaked me out, was the work that I did with the fatherhood program.
Mm-hmm.
My mother, and I guess what happened was a couple of people had met my mom and said they had met me through the fatherhood program. And my mother even, she was very proud of me doing this. Now here, I'm not a dad. My dad wasn't in my life, but she was real proud of that. So I got that. That she did express that, the good work that was done. So I just wanted to, Clark, your folks proud of you?
Oh, my folks are gone.
Okay.
So, but when they were, what? I never heard my daddy told me that he was proud of me.
Really?
I think, or my mother, but if I would have went to church every day, I probably would have heard it from my mother a lot.
Did you ever hear him tell her that they loved you?
Yeah.
See, that's something
One time.
I heard my mama say that maybe 4 times in my whole life.
One time.
I never questioned if she loved me. I just didn't hear it.
Right. I heard it one time in my life. One time.
Nobody loves you.
I suck again. Yeah, I mean, but I think I heard Dr. Joy LaGrue do this, and DeGrue, and she talked about how it was part of our culture that they never wanted, Black parents never wanted their kids to get a big head, right? And there was this whole idea of humility that they wanted you to have. You know, if I came up and I did well in the message and people would come up to my mother would just say, pray for him. You know, I mean, it wasn't one of those things where you were allowed to get out and toot your own horn. And there are people who are pushing back on that now, saying that if you know, which I think I know Kennedy's gotten, because Kennedy don't mind telling you how smart she is. You know, but I think, yeah, we did that for you. And maybe that was for our protection, you know, in terms of how white folks might respond to, because look, man, I could tell you, and it had a whole different meaning when I heard white folks call me arrogant and when I heard Black folks call me arrogant, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, just a whole different thing. And what did Little Richard say? What did he say? I'm not confident I'm right, or something like that. You know, that if you had a certain level of healthy self-esteem, for some people that was threatening. One of my late classmates at American Baptist, I was walking campus one day and Dennis Chapman came up and said, Keith Parris, I can't stand you. Oh man, Dennis, what I do to you? He said, because you walk around here like you somebody. I am. And this was before Jesse. You know,
it was before Jesse.
It was before Jesse. Yeah, you know, so I am. I mean, that why wouldn't I? There was a certain level of confidence that you exude. Now, I can tell you that in spite of what I might exude at times, there was also a certain level of insecurity. And I can tell you that those insecurities would overcome me where I would overcompensate. You know, so it's trying to get perspective with yourself. You know, it is, as Michael Jackson said, that I'm looking at the man in the mirror, and I'm not always comfortable with what I see. All right, let me thank Ms. Tawana Streeter. Clark Kent, thank you.
Thank you.
Apostle Jermaine, thank you, sir.
Bishop, chairman of the board.
Hey, man, trying to make it happen, Captain.
Yes,
hey, y'all,
sir.
the good Lord will and creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.